Welcome to Wallace and Purses, part two of Thee Wed. Sarah and Colin are with us to provide their perspective on life, marriage, and new beginnings despite COVID-19. So let's jump back right into it and let's continue the discussion. One of the things I thought about with this whole, COVID coming into play is socially acceptable to do this. It's if you had said, I'm going to do a virtual wedding 4 years ago, everybody would have looked at you like,
Yeah, my mind goes to the Vegas chapel.
Right.
Like, are you going to Vegas and just getting hitched? Like, some people don't.
exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's become socially acceptable. So I say to couples, like, you're in love and this is for you, you want to be together for the rest of your life. Like, do it. This is the best time. Like, everything is socially acceptable.
Yeah.
So,
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
I do wonder moving forward what it'll look like. Will that become just an option that people can just choose to do and then, oh, that's fine. I don't know. Like, is that the new normal?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
I don't know. I think my one friend just recently got engaged, and he's like, "Man, I just worry that if we don't have a real wedding, like he was like from the selfish side. He's like, I wonder if we're not going to get as many wedding gifts, and we need a lot of things." I'm like, dude, I can promise you that is not true. Like we had like an Amazon wish list, and we just posted it. I think we did the Knot website, and we put that on the Facebook group, and I never want to touch another cardboard box again in my life. So many Amazon packages. Like, it was very generous. We were blessed by that tremendously.
Oh, man.
But we were not in any way in a short supply of wedding gifts. So
awesome. So it sounds like if you had to do it all over again, you would choose virtual wedding versus postponing.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe, like just to be fair, we should come up with at least one con, and so that when it's not completely one-sided. But I guess one con would be that, we didn't have the full reception and that full feeling of, everybody getting to meet Colin, like from my family, and me getting to meet all of Colin's family. So those kinds of, introductions, obviously because of COVID, still haven't happened. But, it's just kind of, it's okay. I'll meet them over time, and they'll meet him over time and stuff like that. So that was one thing, not really getting to have that, kind of big gathering, big party where that's where you really meet the other person, even if it's the first time. So there was that, but honestly, I still feel like the pros outweigh
the cons.
And the one thing we did struggle with, which is kind of like a side note of the virtual wedding, is the honeymoon post the wedding, and I'm not sure it is necessarily relative, but like thinking through, usually people do the honeymoon right after they get married, right? And so there was a lack of opportunity, choices you could have. So we did wrestle through that, but my uncle had a cabin in Central PA, and we took like a nice secluded, like no cell service, like 3-4 day honeymoon. And we had like a fire and a coffee every morning, like super laid back, quiet.
And intimate. And
it was intimate. So like there are options, and I think sometimes what happens is that we have such expectation, like, we want this like Cancun honeymoon, spending, lots of money, like, but what we really just enjoyed that quiet escape from reality together, so.
So just the simplicity of it just give you an opportunity for some intimacy and just, oh, I love it. It's like a storybook. I love Christmas time. So it just feels like a little Christmas time story that I would watch. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. So what do you say to those couples who are wavering on whether to postpone their wedding or have it during this pandemic? What do you say to them?
I guess I would encourage them to really look at what's at the crux of getting married, and if it's really just like, it's time, I'm ready for my teammate, I'm ready, to step into that, and this is, I really just want to do that and kind of focusing on that relationship more than the kind of the everything else that comes along with that, and kind of the frills of the day. If you can back up far enough to get to that where it's like, I just really want to be married, then I don't think you should wait. I think you should just, step into it and go for it, and have people there that you can, and do the live stream if you can, or record it and share the recording if you can, and just go forward with that. And if the reception is really something that it means a lot to you, and you really feel like you need that, then you can always do that later too. You can always postpone and do that later, and then you'll be married, but then you can, kind of not, I guess I would say don't wait, unless, like you feel like you're not ready to get married. That's a different issue.
And most people don't realize too, we hear this all the time, is that like, as a couple, you don't really remember the ceremony. It is a short, sweet thing. But like, if you could ask me, I got married not too long ago. I don't even remember what he said to me, the Pastor Mike had given, and the words he'd given to us. Like, it was just about that marriage covenant, the vows, the rings, like the basics. And so it's if you really, really put it all together, it goes by in a flash. And, the details and all those little things, you won't even remember them anyway, know? And so like, to simplify it, we realized we didn't lose anything. And I would just encourage them to think through that process. The only thing that like were hurdles that we didn't see were like the name change, and anything government or state related right now is awful, so like, I had to move to Maryland, and nobody would imagine that the DMV could be any worse. Oh, but let me tell you, the DMV is worse than ever before. So there's like things like that you gotta just like take as they come, and obviously they probably will be better down the road. But at the same time, like she said, the covenant that happens is really what it's all about. So, if you're in it, and it's a life thing for you, which we would hope so, the time is now, right? For such a time as this.
So I think you guys hit on something that's so important, which is it's about your relationship, and it's about, saying I do, and it's about having just God in the center of it all, right? And so why wait? If you have those elements, like that's what it's about. I mean, yes, the bells and whistles are great, but it's true. We had a traditional wedding, and I don't remember either some of the things that happened, And so at the end of the day, like, it's about the love, it's about the journey, and it's about just, getting covered and making it real. So, oh my goodness, I'm like feeling holiday Christmas story all over the place. I appreciate you guys being able to just, be willing to share your story, because I think people just sometimes we need to be reminded of what is, what is the center of it all, and why are we doing it. And so I love your perspective. I think in a way, COVID did bring a lot of tragedy, but it also brought new opportunities, and it brought new perspectives, and it's a different way of life. But in some regards, you got to appreciate some of the things that came with it, because it allowed us to grow in a different way. And so I'm just so excited. Like, I'm grinning ear to ear for just hearing your story. And I'm just so inspired by it. And I know others will be too. So
absolutely.
I appreciate you guys just, being willing to do this, and welcome to the Wallace and Persis platform. And we definitely want to check in as time goes on, and just see, how is it going, and with COVID, and, did it change anything else? Your first year of being newlyweds, and what that looked like. So we definitely want to check in, and we appreciate you guys doing this.
Thank you.
That'll probably be a longer interview. That if first year in COVID.
First year. I love it. Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely be in touch.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
great.
All right. Have a good one.
All
And
right.
you heard it, guys, from Colin and Sarah. Go ahead and say I do.
I do.